Right, okay, I hope I can't see anything. I can't see anything. Hang on. Yes, there we go. Right. It's all a bit hectic today for reasons that will become apparent. Where are you going on?
I know.
Oh, I still got bits of makeup on him.
It's face paint.
Yeah, face paint. Right, let's go. We're ready for episode number 76. Wow. Wow, that's almost an armful. Let's go on. Right, there's lots going on this week. We got ancient stones, some Babylonian updates, big news, a bit of Roman roads, and sadly some bit of a political scare on our ancient historical sites. I'm going to need some help. Oh, let's just get that straight. Sorry, it's all a bit rushed. The computer came back from the shop this week, so I want to get rid of the problems with the camera crashing and things. And then, guess what? It's been a disaster. So I thought, 5 o'clock, I was getting ready. I've been all set by 6. Because I knew there'd be some American people out there who didn't realise the clocks had gone back an hour. And I thought, let's better get this up an hour early. And then, of course, the computer just spent 2.5 hours of going wrong. Right, so hello, who's first on? Suzanne Price first on. Brilliant. People an hour early. Sorry about that. I should have left an apology or something. Click thumbs up. Yes, hello, who we got? Andrew Whelan, good to see you, Andrew. Paul Cook. Tog. Yep, Tog. Oh, I didn't speak to you, Tog. Can you drop me an email in a week, please? Hey, very good, Arnie. Very good. And he's done that after being in the house not very long because he was out begging around the streets, as children want to do on this time of year. But, there we go. No, sorry. Oh no, I can see all these people chatting about the show being on. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I did put the thing up live an hour ago. I should put a note on there saying, yes, Arnie is playing Arnie Fan Club. We're going to do a duet later. Wow, we've got loads of people online, so let's get started. Yes, clocks have gone back here. But I realised not the other... Oh, Lego's on. Good. Arnie. And we've got Leon in producer's chair.
I see.
Yeah, Arnie's not, I don't know. Who's going to be producer? Do you know?
I think Arnie's going to do it.
Oh, right. I thought you were doing that. Arnie's going to get his music ready. Right, we're going to give the music another go this time. Arnie's trying to convince me this thing. There's two things which I need to get a hang of, apparently. One's called timing, and there's like counting involved in music. Music is maths, man.
I had to teach him that.
You don't do counting in music as well. Music's for maths. Right, sorry there's all this mess everywhere. I have my notes. I got loads of stuff. Hey, and I tell you, thank you very much. Someone sent me 2 copies of this a little while ago. 1 copy for myself, 1 copy for Alan Wilson and Barham. They can share a copy, I think. Really, really interesting. And I'm going to try for next week to do a special on the Templars. Not Simon Templar, no, the Knights Templar, because it seems a very good chance that they were... sorry, I'm just reading some of the funny comments. That began... well, certainly began, but very early, was in West Wales, as I think people are aware from some of the place names and that. Like Cross Hands is the major place there. And then you've got Red Roses, where my cousin lives, and places like this, okay? Which reminds me, did I put their pictures up? I need to put their pictures as well. Right, hang on a second. What else are we talking about? I just realised I need to... I'm very sorry. I'll have to put 1 picture in. I'm going to put 1 more picture in. No, it's on my phone. Oh, no. Oh, that'll have to be next week, a week late.
No.
Right, special apologies to Claire and Neil. Because they sent some great pictures of how cool their shop looked. They got the squirrel in Carmarthen. Say you know... Say you follow the show, you know me and all that. Because it's my cousin and Claire. And it's wonderful for... and collectibles, antiques, interesting stuff. It's an old-fashioned little shop. You go in, you're never quite sure what you're going to find. Old movie posters, things like that. All right? So I'm not sponsored by anyone. They did this amazing job of the whole shop window was done like Gothic style for Halloween. And the 2 of them dressed up as well. They looked absolutely brilliant. They sent the pictures. And then, oh, man, I've had a nightmare to upload pictures from my phone. Oh, hang on. Sorry. And this is terrible. All these people waiting to get started, yeah? And I really want to show this picture.
It was really good, too.
Yeah, really good. Yes. I can get one on this way. I can do it this way. All right, we'll do a quick screen share that way. Okay. There you go. So if everybody come out, then there's a squirrel. You get some ideas. Other pictures here as well. I mean, it was the best carved pumpkins I've seen. Oh, and go bigger. Oh, there we go. And there's Neil and Claire. Isn't that fantastic? So it's worth putting in. So I've done that straight from my, what do you call the thing? What do you call that thing? The green one. Anyway, you know, you send messages back and forth to each other. WhatsApp. Thank you, Arn. I'm going to struggle today, man. My brain. I was hoping for a kip and everything. Right. So we've got... just if you're new, you're very welcome. It's growing every week, so I guess someone must be new. And what we normally do is go through the fact that history has been really changed a lot. And we're trying to find out what the history was before the big political rewrites. I mean, history's always been rewritten. It's always being changed. Oh, yes, I'm going to talk about that. Yes, thank you, Arnie.
You can't see the screen.
Yeah, I'm going to put this on for right, okay. All right, so this right from particularly British history has been very, very inconvenient. It's inconvenient for the royal family to have a royal family and a dynasty that was in Britain from at least, well, around about 500 BC, which even if you date the current dynasty from, say, actually, oh, good grief, today's going to be hard. Hastings, 1066, that means they got 1,500 years of precedence on them. Even over 1,000 years before the good old Saxons and that turned up. So what you'll find is there, particularly in the 18th century, there's revolutions going on all over the place. French royal family having their heads chopped off, American Revolution, Europe in uproar. What the approach was in Britain was to dampen down spirits by just removing the history and making everyone into kind of sort of... the English became Anglo-Saxons, even though they're not. Well, maybe a few are. And the Welsh, Scots and Irish became Celts, even though nothing to do with the Celts. So all that kind of stuff. But it goes way, 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 way back. Because when you get rid of the history, you have to get rid of it all. So all the old migrations. And I do more stuff then, going all the way back to ancient Babylon, all these kind of things. Right, okay.
Can't see it.
Yep, you're going to see it now. There we go. Thank you, Arnie, for letting me know. So there we go. There's so Arnie left. So I didn't think Arnie was going to be back in time for the show. He was out. I'm not a big fan of Halloween, but there we are. You know, he wanted it, so with a bit of job on the face paint, it's come out rather well. He's looking well, isn't he? You look better than usual, on. Right. Oh yeah, become a member.
Guess who it was? Guess who?
Guess who? Yeah, I should have guessed who. Yeah, it is Arnie under that lot. Right. If you look on the thing on your screen next to subscribe, you should see a join button. Now you don't have to join. Make it very clear. There's no extra material. There's nothing that members will see that no one else will see, nothing like that. I mean, there might be a members chat at some point about something, or maybe an extra video, but there's no plans, well, to make everything wants to be available to everyone. The whole point, the Britain's Hidden History Project, is to get the information out there. It's not about that. It's just a chance. Some people have asked me about it. It's just a chance to make people... just want to chip in something to help keep this going. You know, it's make you feel good about donating. And you'll see there's 4 layers, 4 levels. All the bonuses are the same. I'll make a little video to explain how it works. And you can give like $1.99 a month if you wish to, or more. And you become a bard, a druid, a knight of the round table, or a Uther Pendragon, a general. Okay, so it's just a little way of saying thank you and dropping a couple of pounds in if you wish to. But it's no... There's no... Oh, yeah, you do get a little badge. A choice of badges, actually. Have a look. They're quite cool. You can have an Alwen, King Arthur on horseback, or Alan Wilson, or a Baron. And if we get more than so many members, then there'll be more icons available. So when you put your comments on the YouTube channel, you get a little picture with you. A little picture of Alan or something. Whichever one you prefer. Okay, thank you to these. I'm not sponsored, all right? Sounds like a terrible commercial start. Just when I put the wrong details up last week. But these are very nice people. Danielle and Lloyd are going to be helping us with getting the books out. And a special thank you to Mindy. Yeah, I had to say thank you. I suppose I have been sponsored in a way because he insists I took a bag of chips. I popped round to take a picture because he put a comment up last week. Best fish and chip shop in the area. Yes, by far. Right, this crack. Oh yeah, this is all merchandise. It's coming to Christmas. I'm going to whiz through it quickly so we've got loads to get through. This is a picture of Finky Stingers. You have to be very careful how you say that. Who's a regular contributor, comments every week, always on you, very funny. And this is a picture of Finky Stingers in his Britain's Hidden History, Alan Wants You t-shirt. Available. What a perfect idea for Christmas gifts, by the way. Looking what to give the person with everything. We got books, Goldboith. If I got time, at the end, I'm going to try and show you how Goldboith, the game, works. Okay? But I got a feeling so much in tonight's show, that won't happen. But if you go to Camera-Glyphics website, you'll see gift ideas, I think it's called. And there's family trees, maps, books, all sorts of things. Calendars, hopefully. I'm going to try to see Karen this week about getting nice calendars done. Right, okay, now, let's get straight on to the main stuff. Because you might have seen this week, I'm not going to go through it all again because I put the video up. If you look at this week's videos, it's got a lot of views, 600 odd views in the first day and a half, I think it was. And it's about this new, it's just so typical. If you're used to this channel, you know we cover a lot of these things. And I thought I'd do a little short video just talking about that, just to get an idea of what sort of things are happening in the news, because this was a particularly big one. There's HS2. If you're outside the UK, you might not be aware of it. And let's just check with the messages. Oh, okay. It's the High Speed 2. It's the new rail link. I'm not going to get into the politics. I'm not interested either way, the politics, whether it's good or bad. That's for another discussion somewhere else. But what the idea is, new electrified rail line, which will be speed up the journey time from roughly London to the northwest and branching off to Leeds in the northeast, as I understand it. But please, it's not a programme about railway lines. I don't really know. And so what they've done, obviously, is vast amounts of countryside is being dug up and bashed through to make this rail line and train stations and all that kind of stuff. So one of the things they're doing, which they haven't really made the connection, but pretty obviously they're going to be smashing through loads of historical sites. And so one example is a place called Stoke Mandeville, which you might have heard of because of the handicap games or the Paralympics. It all started Stoke Mandeville, just by coincidence. That's where the first, it's like amputees and stuff from World War II started having competitions, and it grew from there to become the Paralympics. But that's besides the point. Right, so what they've done, they found these statues in a site, and it's like, wow, we didn't know this was here, and it's just automatically Roman, okay? So watch the video, it's only 7 minutes long, and you can see them talking for themselves. So astounding Roman statues unearthed, and a Norman church, so they say double points, Roman and Norman. And what strikes me on this, as we know, he says always, why is it bloody Roman? Everything's Roman. But, what's to say it's Roman? So I've done a bit of a follow-up, because that video's had quite a bit of reaction. Seems to hit a nerve, because some of the reactions have been quite nasty. Which I don't understand why. We can't discuss ideas, but here we go. And normally I don't put up comments from Facebook and stuff like that, but it's a public thing. And some of the comments are quite unpleasant. So I thought I'd put them up. Try not to upset Arnie here or anything, but anyway. Kind of rubbish up against. This is a group called Roman Britain. Excuse their inability to write. I didn't see a problem. The British. Yeah, the British, their Iron Age. The Romans. The point is that the word British never appears. And if it does, it's Romano-British. So the questions I was asking, things like, what about a road that predates the Romans? How can that in any way be described as Roman? And also if you've got, so we got here, what you to say, Brummie or Cockney? I don't quite understand that one. Here we go, Eric Urkel Grinster, wherever you are. England, for a very small subset of the Celtish that I happen to be in, so he's English and Celtic now. There we are, all history is history of ethnic struggles, blah, blah, blah. This is me apparently, just another middle-aged, gammon-faced, rude word, interpreting history in such a way as to appeal to the, actually it's not a rude word, is it, prick? Prejudices the barely literate simpletons who came looking for just such interpretations, ignore him, eventually he'll kill himself.
Oh dear. So
that's really nice. This Muppet's posted this astoundingly silly video on every Facebook page. It's not true, and it wasn't me who put it on the Roman Britain page, it was someone else who stuck it up. Thank you for putting it up there, I appreciate it, keep doing that, I don't mind the abuse. To Tosh, It's been refused in every serious Facebook page. I recommend the admins do the same to this idiocy. So I said, well, how do you know if the link didn't go up? That must mean it was you who's doing the censoring. And he said, oh, it's not censorship, it's just stopping rubbish. Like that. This is the kind of reaction, unfortunately, when there's no opportunity for discussion, all right? This is modern academic world, not these particularly academic. Or this Tony Hunt seems to think he is. Okay, so I just made me think of this quote. Some G.R.R. Martin's. It's not very historical. I like to have found a Roman one really good, a Latin one. So when you tear out a man's tongue, you are not proving him a liar. You're only telling the world that you fear what he might say. So there you go. Now, really don't want to hear this stuff. And I don't understand why. And I still don't. And I've been very polite. I get a lot of abuse, but I'm being very polite. I'm trying to explain, for example, the one period which is always missed out of history, always, is that era between when the Romans officially left, which, if you look in their records, it's about 280s. Like, the Romans are gone. It was considered independent from the 280s. But anyway, let's go with the most Roman-centric official line, and you find the history ran out at about 409, they say the Romans left. That's been really late. Well, there's still a big gap before the Saxons turned up. So that period never gets mentioned. You can't still call that Roman. I know you have Romano, British, and things like this. Yeah, page named right, Roman Britain is going to have to be ever so slightly biased. Yeah. I don't have the rug pulled from under their feet. Yes, I do appreciate that. It takes a bit of nerve to start going into those groups and having a chat with them because they're so obsessed. It's like a fetish. Oh my God, it's Roman. It's in Britain, might be British. How do you know it's Roman? Doesn't matter, it might be. It's a very, very weird situation in. And I think what it shows is the how effective this history rewrite that we talk about was. It not only on the screen caught my eye. Not as George Orwell said. It's a well-worn quote. So nothing original by me. Is that you'd have to not only change history and convince people the new history, you have to make them forget it was ever changed. He pointed this out, 70 years ago. So there we go. That's right. Just caught my eye. Slight detour. What's that? There's a quote by Mark Twain about never trying to debate with an idiot because they'll always drag you down to their level and beat you with experience. I quite like that one. Yes. I was going to see something else with some... this made me laugh. Can you see it on your screen? Yes, you can, yes. 18 things that perfectly sum up a night out in Pontypridd. I want to click on that. I'm dying to... Well, I can't. It's just a picture I put on the screen. It's not the original article by Nathan Bevan. I dread to think what that is. There we go, October 21. So we're up to date. All right, this is all new stuff. So this is another one. Now, the fascinating little-known sites that show how the Romans lived in Wales. I mean, this is just... hang on. Actually, you are right. I can't click on it, perhaps. Oh, no, because of computer crash. It is still there, is it? Oh, see, this is just completely crashed. Look, it's not even a full page. Ouch. Sorry, it's going to be awkward. This is... Alright, okay. I don't think I can do it. Hang on, it's just one last try. So we had bad IT problems today. Yeah. Right, okay. I'm just going to have to tell you the rest of this off the picture. I'll put the link in the description, okay? We had a few problems today. Come on, I must be able to do this. Alright, I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll just jump onto there a second. I'm going to have to do it the hard way. Alright, okay. Sorry about this. It's just been one of those days, but we'll get there. We will get there. Because I do want to show this as quickly as possible. It's good fun. No, it's not going to work. Alright, okay, cancel that idea. Alright. Right, sorry folks, but anyway, you get the idea, and I'll put the links so you can read the whole article. And it's just a loving where there's all sorts of sites around Wales, and also near Pontypridd. But it's the same in England. That's why one of the things about the HS2 was important, because that's not in Wales at all. And I really can't emphasise enough, this is not just a Welsh group or a pro-Welsh group. It's the whole of Britain. It's had the history taken away, okay? All of us. And it's going to get worse. and some terrible news about how much worse it's going to get. We've got a report for Wales, and I think there must be one similar for England. If people could have a look, please. We'll go on to that a little bit later in the show, okay? So, remnants of ancient civilizations in places you least expect. I know, I totally least expect them because the Romans weren't there. So you're right with that one. I do agree with whatever this was, the Wales Online, I think. Wales' national thing. Here's a great article. Let's say this is actually a couple of years old, this one. But it's brilliant. Is there a date on it? It's a couple of years ago, but it's... Oh yeah, 2011, actually 10 years ago. So thank you very much. Ivian found this for me, because you can see this row really kicking off online. And he waded in and helped me and found this. And one of the great things about this article is it's very mainstream. It's a Daily Mail. And it's the history teaches us that the Romans built our road system and civilized Britain. Incredible new evidence may prompt another look at the question of what the Romans did for us. And I hope I got a bit more on the next page. No, not on this one. So thank you for that. Again, this article, you can see the different layers. I really need to show this article. Right, bear with me one second. Hang on a second, just quickly do this. Yes. We've got the article. Here we go. Fantastic. Bendigedig. Right. This is really good, okay? You should use it. Save this link and use it yourself if you need to talk to other people, or if you're coming to this to have a look. See, what is all this nonsense about everything wasn't Roman? Of course everything was Roman. Well, this one's great. So they've done carbon dating, which, as you know, I've got a few problems with, but there you go. But more important than the carbon dating is the levels, because they found what they consider to be a Roman level, and then below it are other levels of road. And the great thing is, the usual argument is, well, of course there might have been ancient trails and things like that, but what the Romans did was bring in proper roads, and tiled them and put stones in and all that kind of thing. But you find actually that this is one here where you can see it's got a stone layer on it. It's properly made. It's a proper road. And I love this comment here. It even raises the possibility that the Romans were inspired by Iron Age man, as their road was built on top of the original foundations. There's already a stone road there. So what they're saying is it could be Iron Age. Now, I've got to slow down a bit. Let's take a breath. Right, one of the things I want to look at as we go through this, because even on this article, there's a couple of key observations. Something missing. But anyway, we'll have a look, okay? So maybe the road was there much earlier, and then we got... they've been brought in to investigate what was believed to be a Roman road. See, always. No. The scientific method is you've been brought in to investigate a potential road. It's not Roman, or potentially it might be Roman, it might be anything. This is the point I keep constantly get across the archaeologists, the assumptions made before the site is even visited. In this case, fair play, open mind they've kept, it seems. God, that was a bit Yoda, wasn't it? Open mind they've kept. Right, but on closer inspection, they realised the construction was actually built upon the original foundations of another road. This is why the carbon dating is not so important. You can show its early exits underneath. This discovery is now likely to prompt archaeologists in other parts of Britain to re-examine some more typically Roman-looking roads to see whether they too were constructed by Britons. And this is the keyword here, where that's the only time you see it, and it's remarkable. It's actually there in black and white Britons. But this was 10 years ago, so if anyone knows of any roads that have looked into this, please let me know, okay? Very interested. And one of the things that worries me is this. One of the comments, feedback I got about my little video during the week was why is Shrewsbury, or Shrewsbury, depending on pronunciation, so important in that area, that sort of Midwest of Britain, where you got Warwickshire, Shrewsbury, Shropshire, the county of Shrewsbury's in Shropshire, Warwick and Staffordshire, little corner there. This is absolutely crucial, because for the Roman era, this is where the British kings seem to have their headquarters were. I'm sure you know Arthur the First. You can see his burial mound there at Arthurstone, or Oldbury. all around that area. We've got Wroxeter as the ancient capital. It's a really crucial place. So please, 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 if anyone there is following the HS2 progress, looking at the routes, check that one out. Because there are Wroxeter. Look at that. Actually, there it is. I hadn't looked closely at this map. Can I zoom in on this map? No, but there we... No. If you can zoom in, you'll see Wroxeter, which they're calling Vericonium, as the sort of Latinization of it. But this is the old British capital. And Watling Street, which comes from an old British word, a much older... the name escapes me a second. Oh, come on, Ross. Gwynedd. I'll put something up about Warwickshire soon. And this area. Ancient roads way before the Romans. And you can even see in some places the ancient road and the Roman road. The ancient road's older. So I'm very worried that HS2s can come blasting through there, okay? We are just to the south of modern-day Shrewsbury. To the east lies Vericonium, which was the fourth largest city of Roman Britain. The road veering to the left is bleed to the route of the Celtic road. No. It is now the A5. That's it. This is a really good article, actually. To the right is an artist's impression of Celtic Cornovii, the people who are believed to have built the road. Ah, brilliant. There you go. So it has been in the press. Who's the author of the Daily Mail article? Thank you for the question. Claire Ellicott. No, nothing's come up. No longer there, looks things. That's what happens if you write these kind of articles. If you want to look her up, Claire Ellicott, give her a well done from me. Apart from the words Celtic and Britons, but there we go. So yeah, I can read that, and there's lots of digs. And there's a good picture. Here we go. This is what I wanted to see. So as you can see, there's a Roman layer. They're giving the Romans credit for 2 layers, but then you got Iron Age and other layers. Really cool article. So again, I'll put the link up. I would have them up already, but it's been... By the way, it's ghastly, all these stories, aren't they? Run alongside it. Sheesh. I didn't look at them. It's just horrendous story after horrendous story, isn't it? Is that what constitutes news? Good grief. Right. So there we go. There. Right. Get back to the show, Ross. Getting slightly distracted. Not slightly, completely distracted. Right. So we've got another one here. This is an interesting one. Actually, the previous link might have been sent by someone else. I think this is Bob. Bob Morgan, I think. Anyway, this is mine, Maddock. What we've done here... There was a previous debate, if you like, it all got a bit feisty, talking about the, what do you call it, Sarn Helen. Say Sarn Helen, if you look, it's on its site, Sarn Helen, brackets, Roman road. Again, a major road in Wales. If you look at the history of Wilson and Blackett, for example, they would argue that the Romans never even got to this particular place. Certainly not long enough to build a road. And certainly not enough to have that kind of... the problem you have is when you're building a road, and Bob Morgan's done some brilliant logistics studies on this, which I'm going to run through. Great mug, by the way, another great Christmas present. Not for me, not meant for your friends or something. So that article ties in nicely, the Daily Mail article, because it's saying these other roads should be reconsidered to see if they're Roman. Well, on here you've got various trenches. And there's been archaeology done there. 1940, look, excavations. It's funny how many things seem to happen just before the World Wars and then just get forgotten. And what you've done here, I better not read all this because it's going to take too long. I'll just jump to this last part here, look. The point is, in this, Fox recounts how he undertook 3 trenches and he exposed an older road that was paved with river pebbles and boulders, clay on top. So you got all they had was there. They got the stones. They dug it down or made a layer with stones, packed that down with clay, and then put another layer, and then you got the road itself. So it's a pretty sophisticated road, which makes sense if the British had chariots and stuff. Why wouldn't they have roads? Yeah, because the argument is the reason why the building's important as well is the justification for it being Roman is it's between 2 Roman guardhouses. Supposedly Roman guardhouses. Therefore, the road must be. But you'd think if you turn up in a place and there's a road there, that's where you're going to put your guardhouse. You know, there's no logic to any of these things, is there? Am I going mad, or is this just... I mean, if you're invading a country and there's a major road going through the middle of it, you'd put your thoughts on the major road, wouldn't you? You wouldn't suddenly go,
Common sense.
no, apparently it's not on. Apparently common sense is to go, we'll stick a road over there, forget all the existing roads, we're going to put a road down there, build it all, put the forts around it, therefore, yeah, there we are, bonkers. Okay, right, so what I suggest, by the way, for some of this, the reason I put all the text on the screen is that you can come back to it later. So if you look, we're into, say, 30 minutes into the show, jump in and pause it and have a read then. So obviously, no doubt, second Legion from Leon. But there we are. But then, even more confusingly, the current line and metalling, when I say metalling here, it means like tarmacking and stoning and that kind of thing, of Sarn Helen was only of recent origin, in 19th century. And it was related to coal mining and stuff. So you have to be careful of that as well. But I'm sure it's Roman. Right, now this is Bob Morgan's comments here now. Right, because there's a lot longer article Bob's written here. I should put the whole article up. I think I'm open to suggestions if you want to put it on the comments. I'm frozen, is it? You just hear that dreaded noise, which shouldn't happen anymore.
No, everything's fine.
No, fine. Phew, something just jumped out. It's this particular issue, and then what I like people to do, even if it gets me in trouble, which is absolutely fine, I've got no problem with that at all, is if you can share the video links with other social media groups or just email it to people, whichever way you can, just get more people aware of this, because we need to break this stupor, this hypnosis that people are in, that nothing in history can be British. And even if it's pre the Roman era or after the Roman era, it's still not British. It's just weird. I can't get my head around it. Okay, so anyway, so this is Bob's conclusions here. He's a clever old chap, Bob. So part one, you got Holloways. They're those beautiful roads when you get the trees, you go all the way around. And it's like walking through a tunnel. We've got a few around here. I'm sure you got them near you as well. If you live in Britain, you'll see them. The idea is, Tim Lewis is telling me all about these, that over time, they're so well used, and we're talking being used for a couple of thousand years, well, maybe 2,500, 3,000 years, 4,000 years. The path itself sort of sinks a bit, and the banks get raised up as they clear it and stuff, so you end up with the banks coming up like that in the road, and then the trees, and it's like a beautiful tunnel, and it's fantastic. Anyway, so what did... So Ross, you have left it up to the reader of the Where Jesus is Buried book to find the site by using the info in the book. Can you just confirm? Is the Llanbydr area on the right track? I'll just drop a little clue. Yes, we think it's up there. Yes. You are on the right track, George. Thank you for buying the book, Georgia and John. Yes. It should be a Roman road. No, I'm not paying for it. Well, I claim it for the Roman Empire. From now on, it should be a Roman road. No, I'm not paying for it. Yeah, it's a good point, actually. Yeah, just call it Roman. Yeah, the last comment on the group was weird. And, because I was trying to make some headway, just say, well, come on, explain to me, why did you call it Roman? And, and he was saying, it's to show that the cultural thing was Roman, even if it's in Britain. So I said, so does that mean then if we found a similar article in Rome, we could call it British? And he said, only if Britain culturally dominated the Romans. So I'm trying, is that the measure now? Cultural domination? Is that the point? Are we trying to get somewhere? Is this kind of the reason why this is being done? Is to do with cultural domination? I don't know what that's based on. Why people think... in my imagination, you got these few thousand Romans, if there were any significant inroads, sitting in their little forts with millions of people getting on with their lives. I don't see the cultural... thing. Anyway, I've got something wrong here. Right, so anyway, the Holloways, which are the remains of the original meandering trackways over the mountain, hardened track, this is the sort of metal type thing we're talking about. It's the original braided pathways that became consolidated into one main track, which is hardened with stones. 3, then is the pre-Roman road. That's the bit he excavated, and then we have the Roman road, which could actually be 19th century. So actually none of the roads are probably Roman, as I think Bob pointed out. The report highlights that the history of Sarn Helen is far more complicated than the usual narrative, it being a brand new Roman road with no prior history. The open question is, which one of the 4 tracks or roads reported by Fox is the actual Sarn Helen? It is clear that the Sarn Helen we see today was not always the Sarn Helen of the past. Here's a candidate for a BHH archaeological dig. This is getting exciting, by the way, on the digs front. So I'll come on to that in a second. You'll see why. And it ties in with this story and this person. This is Martin Hutchinson, who I came into touch with the first time today. And it's another reason why I've been behind, because this is a big story. And it's just sort of broken on my lap, if you like. This picture, as you can see, goes back to 2019. And it's up by St. Gwynedd, the place where, you know, we spent a lot of time, Polaris stone, all those kind of things up there. Martin is a local person, but he's also qualified archaeologist. That was his study. And while he was studying archaeology, he's also come up and found that there's, he got, the Stone Find of the Year. There's such an award, and you'll see the association. And look at that. And what he has discovered, much to our horror, is, and I've got videos as well with, I hope Llewellyn Bren is watching, Julian. So I've been touched so much the last few weeks, it's been stinking weather. Up on the common over St. Gwynedd is, as we feared last visit, the whole area could get battered by wind turbines. And it's not just rumoured, and it's not just a chance. Martin's telling me they've already started putting the roads in. It's a bit cheeky as it's before the consultation process. Another dirty trick that's being played is, instead of having open meetings like you normally do in public consultations so everyone can cheer and shout and have their say, you have to book a slot, an appointment. You get 15 minutes, and I think you have to go in as an individual, as far as I can tell. So one person goes in 15 minutes, gets nowhere, walks out, they can start again, just repeat. It's appalling. Absolutely appalling. I do want to spend some time on it. So again, you can read all this by pausing, okay? I will try and summarise. Actually, I'm going to read some of this, because the name of the hill, the new project, is Toyn Hywel Wind Farm, an energy park, call it what they like. And this is the quote: "We have spent the past 2 years undertaking detailed technical and environmental assessments of the site. Much more detailed assessment work will continue through to the point of lodging our future planning application." Future planning application. Technical assessment. Ooh, what's going on? "In that case, this company should be aware of the numerous archaeological sites in the vicinity of protected status, what Cadu calls scheduled. The company should also understand excavating or damaging protected sites is illegal and subject to a hefty fine and or imprisonment." Now, you have to understand, Martin's a bit more mainstream. Something like that. Martin's studies have been more about Bronze Age and that kind of following the classical history line. We're talking today on the phone. I'm going to meet him in the week about, you know, his different ideas. He's interested very much in the astronomical side of it. Wasn't so aware of the star map, but he's checked out a lot of alignments and technical work and looking at stones like these here up on St. Gwynedd Common, matching with solstices and equinoxes. So we're sort of in very similar territory, and we're going to hopefully be able to cross over and mesh a bit. And he's read some Wilson and Blackett, so hope you're watching, Martin. Very, very interesting talking to you today. We're on the phone for ages, and my day just vanished, which was great though, because this is really important. So there's a Bronze Age round barrow protected by law. St. Gwynedd Dyke is also protected by law. There are many protected sites and some unprotected. Yeah, Ivian's saying they're using the climate argument as a big stick to open many doors, yeah. It'd be a road sire. Well, I missed the first half of David's comment then. So all these roads built by Britons, then some Caesar comes along, stands on the first road, he finds, "I am a Roman, tell me what is this long straight thing I am stood on." So there's the rock art was the point of what Martin found, which I think was this stone here. Not obviously rock art, so he's going to explain it to me, what this all signifies, or what the interpretation is, I should say. And then we're exchanging ideas. I was telling him about the Polaris stone, which he's very well aware of, the whole thing up there, so so look out for more on that, okay? Some recently made a significant rock art find in the area. By the way, this is on a local Facebook group, so I know these have problems, but I found this through the Ponty Town Facebook group, which is brilliant that I did. And also cairns protected by law, natural standing stone, recumbent stone, which I think is a Polaris stone, which appear to be calendrical, so they are to do with dates. Potentially a Bronze Age nematon, which is an open-air ritual site, could be. All the protected, blah, blah, blah. It's illegal to excavate or damage these protected sites. And there's a place called the Archwilio, which I think is Welsh. Archwilio. I should know. Arch is like scary, I think. Something like terrible. Anyway, that's the database. And then the company's a Scottish company that's doing it. So I don't know where this comes into. It's helping Wales. I don't know. So very, very important. Now, another documents, so I'm not going to go into now because it's very, very large. Please look at this. This is called Future Wales, the National Plan for 2040. I didn't even know we had a national plan. So I don't think it's widely promoted. Please, on the comments, can someone let me know, is there a similar thing for England and Scotland and Northern Ireland? I would almost say there's bound to be. I find a very disturbing article to read. A lot of things which I would consider to be controversial, I'm trying not to be political here, are included in there as matter of fact and policy. And that's just the way it's going to be. I mean, I'm going to have to talk a little bit about Wales, but I mean, for Wales at the moment, Wales is a net exporter of energy. So why we have to destroy so many sites to produce more natural energy, I don't know. It's not for the benefit of Wales unless it's going to be sold to other countries, which does not seem to be the case. Same with water. It's freaking always raining. We have no shortage of water in Wales. But there's going to be more areas drowned, and there's all sorts of predictions about climate change and all sorts of stuff. And it's quite terrifying. And if you look at page 104, and I think it's 84, you'll see there some details of where these wind farms are going to be, which sites have been pinpointed for development. Man, it's like hills around here, loads of them. And also, as can be seen from the planning application that Martin has found, they're going to be areas that are protected as well. Very, very worrying. And very little warning, because the public consultation is this week. So I'm hoping to go on Tuesday to one of the meetings, so have a look out for that. Did he put details up? Blast. I'll have to put it on the description. Because like I say, if it's supposed to go along one at a time, 15 minutes, I mean, it's a farce, isn't it? Absolute farce. So I'm not sure what we're going to do. But one of the things, and getting some legal advice on this, also possibly for Martin as well, might need some legal advice. We'll try and block it. And this group, by the way, is never ever meant to be more than just reading Wilson and Blackett's books and other history books and discussing those kind of things. So I'm sorry it's diverted a bit tonight, but this is happening really quickly. Find out about it today. Consultation meetings Tuesday and Wednesday, I think. So it's all rather urgent. Oh, whoa. That's the end of the political bit there. We'll be on 10 to 9. Right, okay. We get into some more history things. My plan for Britain is to avoid the so-called active union. Right, okay. Go green will save the planet. Right. I wonder which green that is. Plaid Cymru green, perhaps. Okay, now, oh my goodness, I'm still stuck on this Daily Mail page. Right, Arnie B, what was the next thing we had in there? Oh, the Gwynedd. Can I ask Mum if she managed to get the Gwynedd set together? A box set, so you can show that. Okay, I'm going to try and get so I can see the comments a bit quicker. Pardon?
An ideal Christmas gift.
Ideal Christmas gift, the Gwynedd. Right, okay. Now, the other thing I was going to talk about, I have here, it's unpublished work of Wilson and Blackett. And I was going to read one of these. So you've got these big folders, which are great. We're going through lots of work. And if you notice, I think it went down rather well over the last week or so. Glasses, that's what I need. No, great. Okay. Alright, cancel the Gwynedd. Right, I'll jump into something rather controversial. I should put it on the trailer, really. When I get a chance, I'll put up a proper card. Because I know the ancient astronomical connections have been really interesting. And don't worry, Ange, we'll do it next week. We can't play without the board, so we'll get that sorted out for next week. No problem. And I hope you're enjoying those videos. There's more coming. And what we're looking at is that... Excuse me, a bit hoarse this week. Oh no, singing's going to be difficult. I was singing great earlier on, wasn't I? Yes, Dad, you are fantastic, Dad. Earlier, a couple of hours ago, we had a practice, remember?
Well, you were singing. When was it good?
Hey, boom, boom. Great.
No, it was okay.
Yeah, well, he's cheap anyway, that's the thing. Can't get a staff, can you? So, I've lost my track now. Oh, yeah, so what we're looking at there was, I hope you've enjoyed those, we're looking at the ancient... the idea is looking at the Mabinogi closer, as opposed to Mabinogion, which was Lady Charlotte called it that to make it into children's stories, which seems to be in the way of hiding the original meaning. And I've got loads of translations, well, I say loads, I've got 3 or 4, I think the main translations of the Mabinogion. No one mentions the astronomical connections. No one mentions the origin stories and how the original origin tales go all the way back to, how the planets are moving around on its before it settled into the current pattern, where we think, or we're told, that our solar system is running like clockwork and has done so for millions and millions of years without changing. Now, how anyone knows that is strange when we think about it. How can people know what happened millions of years ago? What evidence have they got for this constant system? So if anyone knows, please say. What seems far more likely, if you read people like Velikovsky, and before him Hawley, now known as Haley. I mean, Hawley became Haley. There we go. That's Alan tells me that's how Hawley used to be pronounced. I'll call him Haley because you know what I mean then. They talked about this idea of irregular planet motions. So we'd have... this is the fun bit now. Whereas a flat Earth, or a dome, or a firmament, or a globe, it's the same basic principles, okay? So let's not go down that cul-de-sac right now, okay? Because I know it's... I'm with you. I don't think it's proven either way. I really don't. I mean, I'm not going to get... See, the trouble now, see, as soon as you say that, these people have a go at me and say, oh, he's a flat earther and all this. It's not a proven point either way. But hey, that's deep water in it. We've got enough trouble already with Wilson and Blackett's work. But whichever way you look at it, the idea is the planets are going around in a regular motion, whereas the historical records, the claims of the ancients are that that's not the case, that the planets were much more erratic. Also, that there was times when the planets collided, and that at least one, well, at least 2, you should probably say, planets were destroyed, possibly collision with each other, or hitting a larger planet. And the interesting thing is, in the same way that Mars is mostly red, the destroyed planets, at least one of which is said to be red, and you have what's called the asteroid belt, which is red. Well, it's always shown as red on their simulations and stuff, so there seems to be some credence in the possibility of that being a smashed up planet causing that. So it must have been a really dangerous place to look at. Oh, sorry, Orion was right in front of my... Oh, we're talking about Orion. Oh, I want to hear about that one. Anyway, sorry, I'm sorry the people listening to this program, me trying to read the comments. So anyway, so what do you have, the situation then when the ancient records talk about, if you think about the Trojan Wars, where you have, as on the ground, you've got, Achilles and Hector and Ajax or Ajax and all these people whacking away at each other. And then the story being told by Homer talks of Mars and Venus fighting and things like this. And I think, why is it so important to them? And to me, it's always confused me. Why is it little white dots are so important? But of course then, if they were out of sync and they were coming nearer to the Earth, the estimates are that Mars, for example, at one point would have been 20 times the size of a full moon. It would have completely filled the sky. Red, with this shimmering kind of activity going on in it. It would have been terrifying. And we'll call it gravitational pull, okay, for sake of argument. I know that's also up for debate. Anyway, but it'll cause havoc to the Earth, water moving, poles possibly shifting, all kinds of disasters, plus meteors and stuff like that. So there's been lots of these things happened. And the overall strategy, the overall position, which is the book I'm working on with Alan and Barham, is that this is the story which is at the root of all religions as well. It's all to do with this. So the ideas I want to look at more and get people to think about. For example, the Garden of Eden, with the idea of the Garden of Eden being, if you look at the night sky, there is a circle of the night sky which is always, always visible all around the year. Because as the world moves, it tilts. Because of the tilt, you have what's called the ecliptic. And I've got to mention this on Hugh's, I'm meant to put a plug on for Hugh's channel. Because thank you for those who ordered Origins of the Zodiac, Original Zodiac, sorry, by Hugh Evans. I did want to put a video up about that. It's been a crazy week, so I shall be doing more about that this week. Although I'm out almost every day, but there we go. The idea of an ecliptic, he explains on his channel. That's where we want to see the lick. He explains what it is. You have the visible horizon in the sky, called the ecliptic. So every night you look across, obviously you can't see the stuff that's below the Earth. You can only see the stuff that's visible. And this is where you get, and throughout the year this rotates, which is why you get the idea of different areas being ascending. So as it rotates, go through the different star signs. If the sun comes up through this one, we say this one's, the main one at the moment, and that's how you work your way through. But there's an area in the middle, these stars in the middle, you can always see. So the ones around the edge, sometimes they're below the horizon, you can't see them, sometimes you can, and that's what a lot of this is all about. Now, one of the Wilson and Blackett's theories, to go right back to the beginning of the origins of at least the biblical or Talmudic tradition, the Old Testament, Genesis, or origins, if you like, is the idea that you have an area in the night sky which would then have been the Garden of Eden. Now, the proposal is then that over time, the grand precession is supposed to be 26,000 years, just over 2,000 years for each what we would call a star sign today. It goes through the 12 constellations. But also the middle moves. So at some point, the star that used to be the central star in the middle of the sky every night moved. Did the Earth move or did the sky move or whatever, right? But anyway, relative to us, it's moved and gone outside. And this is the story then of leaving the Garden of Eden. This is the astrological component of it. Now, to bear in mind as well, the principle behind a lot of these things is as above, so below. So this is not discounting the possibility of some sort of historical happening and someone really leaving in a garden and all that kind of stuff, okay? In the same way that in the Mabinogi you have Arthur and his court is used to illustrate astronomical stories. Because everyone would know King Arthur. He's a great choice. So Arthur is the sun in these stories. He's at the centre. And going around him are the knights, and they represent the planets and the comets and intruders coming in. And all these stories, because it's funny when I read the Mabinogi story, got children's versions of them, which I read to the boys. And one thing they always notice is like, oh, it's always a year, isn't it? Like if you think the story of Gawain and the Green Knight, I'm sure you all know the story. It's Christmas Eve, so maybe that's an allusion to the winter solstice when the sun's at its lowest. That's just me adding that part, so don't jump too hard on it. You have the situation where they're feasting in Arthur's Hall, which represents the solar system, and in comes the Green Knight. And the Green Knight makes a challenge, which I'm sure you might know. If you step up, brave knight, cut off my head. Then a year's time, you come to my castle and I get to cut off your head. So it's a really weird story. Most of the Mabinogi stories are weird until you get the astronomical side. So, and it's always a year. So if you do the wedding of Pulth, he has to come back in a year. If you go to lots of the events, like when Pulth changes form with the other king, it's for a year. So this tends to imply one rotation of the sun. And this is why it's very important. Talking to Alan about this is very important. That's why the year is very important. Because it's what you're doing from an astronomical point of view, or observing. If you come back to the same date again, you can observe the sky and see if there's any changes, which is really important if you're worried about a massive comet coming to smash up your whole civilization. So one of the things you would do in observing is checking this centre thing. Now, for all of our lives, yes, even me, who's Arnie says I'm incredibly old, older than the Emperor in Star Wars, the Polaris has been at the centre. It's been there for quite a long time and will continue to be there for quite a long time, I think. So it's made life a lot easier that we've got a North Pole to always navigate by. So the next stage is, as he's showing those videos, which I hope, is that once you've got the concept of grouping the stars and making them into constellations and recognisable things, like say, oh, there's the Bear, or there's the Big Dipper, or there's Taurus, or there's Dracons, you can start attaching your stories to them. So maybe the snake comes into the story because you have Serpens is the constellation, and that runs down to what would be the Garden of Eden, for example. So, you know, is the story done to explain the stars, or do the stars explain the story? Which one comes first? This is where it starts to get very interesting. That's where it's more difficult. It's the old thing about, you can see a connection, which one's causal, you know, what caused what. It's unlikely they're coincidence, but which started the process, which one copied the other. Alright, so that's the kind of thing looking at there, and do more about that, because it is fascinating. Now, where it gets, because you need this background, it's important, because all this history is being deleted from us, because what it does, well, for one, if you're a bunch of wandering barbarian Celts coming over and living in mud huts, you wouldn't be interested in any of this stuff, presumably. Maybe you would be, but it's not important. When you look at these events happening, there are many ways you could explain them, and there's many things you could call these different constellations, okay? You can call them almost anything. You look at the night sky, you will not see a bear. You will not see a bull. You won't see any of these things. You just see a load of stars. Some will stand out. So you get like the 7 stars, you know, it's formed like a box, and 3 went up there, like the Big Dipper, or whichever part of the world you're in, it'll have a different name, okay? Someone's given it that name. And this is where it gets really interesting, because what the research is doing more and more, and what Wilson and Blackett have done, and we're following it up, particularly with Hugh Evans and Steve Willett, who I was going to do a little bit update, I'm definitely going to get those up in the week, is that you got the ancient Babylonian stories, and they talk about certain characters, and that they're explaining an astronomical events. And this is quite the scientific side of it now, okay? You were talking about like the 80 years they spent observing Venus and doing very accurate recordings. Now, why would they bother doing that? The mainstream view is they didn't have a clue because the readings are all over the place. It seems more likely to people like Velikovsky and Alan Wilson, and I would agree as well, that they're observing Venus because Venus is on an erratic path and he might come and smash the Earth. So it's really important to do that. So how do you explain this? So if I look at the night sky and think, oh my God, has anything changed? It's very difficult. So if I go, oh yeah, there's the Big Dipper, and there's Cassiopeia, and there's, you know, Polestar, and there's, you can kind of place everything down. So with learning and practice, you can learn where all these constellations go. Now the curious thing is, and this is where it all ties in, is that if you look at the ancient Babylonian origin stories and look at the names and how they place them on their zodiac, that ties in with the work that Steve Willett is doing at the moment and finding the place names on the ground in South Wales. We've got farms and fields and hills with really weird names. Like where the shoulder of Tiamat would be, if you drew Tiamat, the sort of the demon, the comet, or wherever it was, where the shoulder is, there's a farm called Left Shoulder, and there's, you know, the foot, the thing they're holding, the whole thing's mapped out. There's the Garden of Paradise halfway up a hill. This is near Blackwoods. So these things are very important, and the question is then, how can the same names be in Britain as in Babylon? And that's where it gets interesting. one theory, which I rather like, is that... before I get to that, is then the important thing is to look at the work that Hugh Evans has done in northwest Wales, in Gwynedd, which his channel's just gone live, but just search Hugh Evans, what's he called? Origins of the Zodiac, I think his channel's called. I will put the links up. Sorry, I said IT's been a nightmare all day. It's worn me out. Destroyed my will sometimes. But we got there in the end, but a lot of it's missing, okay? What Hugh's been doing there is looking at the geography of Gwynedd. And what he's noticed, and you can verify this for yourself, is that the Ptolemaic zodiac, the one which supposedly came about 300s by Ptolemy, who was Greek astronomer, who is credited with, this way it gets a bit confusing, he's as the cat just went straight through. Mimi, it's a dark night and you're a black cat, you'll disappear. Well, I'm going to let the cat out now. God, they never work with animals or children, eh? So what he's doing there, he's showing that the hills match the zodiac. One example I always remember, you've got Camlan with the famous battler King Arthur. The Camlan Valley has got mountains either side of it, like this. This is the valley. Camlan, the crooked glen. Crooked, I'll wait for the cat to come charging through again. And it's like that. And that's the bull's horns, all right? And then you go around a bit, you got the next arrangement of, like Cassiopeia, there are 7 mountains that form the shape of Cassiopeia. Oh, sorry, was it 5 of Cassiopeia? 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 5 Cassiopeia, 7 for the Big Dipper. And you can follow these places around Gwynedd. Now, what gets really curious then is also the river that flows through is said to represent the Milky Way. And you can see then the place names along it, like the farm where Hugh and I stayed. Well, I parked up in the field in a tent, but same thing. And the name of the owner of the farm didn't know why the farm was called what it was. I'll put the video up anyway. It was something like the rising point of the sun or something, but it fits this zodiac map. So this is where it gets really interesting, and you're going to love the Zodiac by Hugh Evans, and the videos we've already filmed, been up to North Wales, filmed them, just going to edit them and put them out, explaining how the mountains match the arrangement of the Zodiac. This is why I've had to give the background to get to this point, because this is where it gets interesting, okay? Is that you can't move the mountains, presumably. And similarly with the star maps and stuff in South Wales that we know about, and there's possibly more across England, it's just who's looking for them. We found some mounds around Nottingham area, and we're going to start plotting those. And I think there'll be more. Have a look around your area. If it's been ploughed out, destroyed, whatever. I don't know why it seems to be worse in England than Wales. I think Scotland, there's a good chance of finding more of these. The far north of Scotland, Orkneys, and northwest of Scotland, you've got early astronomical observation points, standing stones, all the work of Alexander Thom. So that's more possible. I don't know why it's so much worse in England. Could it be that the comet of 562 just wrecked all these things? But I don't think mounds would get wrecked. I don't think standing stones would get wrecked. I've got a theory one of the reasons they built them is because they can withstand things like comets. And, anyway, we're diverting. The question is, there has to be asked about the Zodiac in Gwynedd that Hugh Evans writes about and describes so well, is that those mountains presumably were not moved. They're where they are. So if you've got a group of 7 mountains forming a pattern, and you name those 7 mountains a certain thing, and you look in the sky and you can see that 7 pattern, oh, hang on a second, that matches these 7 mountains. We'll call the stars after the mountains, or the mountains after the stars. What I'm trying to get to is that if the zodiac was already fixed, and all the groups have been named, and put into groups of 5 or 7 or 9 or wherever it is, and the shapes, like, the horns of a bull, then it's impossible. The odds are just ridiculous that those patterns would match your mountains. It's just ridiculous. How could that possibly be? So we have to think about then is how Some good chat there. I can see Hugh's on there, excellent. And I can see Marcel on there as well. Yeah, white. Yeah, thank you. Marcel's comment on there. So you can see why the constellations are the shape they are. Why do we have these things? You see a blur of white dots, and even about the air light pollution, quite big white dots. But what makes you think that should be this shape, and those 7 go together, and those 5 there, and why is this one below that one? And well, the remarkable thing is that for whatever reasons, that Ptolemaic cosmos, that zodiac that we're presented with, which has become over time the modern Greek-Roman thing that we have to this day, where Aries, Taurus, Gemini, off the top of my head, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpion. What does that say there on? Oh, sorry, off the top of my head, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. All that fits with the landscape of Gwynedd, and also the stories that we're told in the ancient Babylonian. See, as soon as you say myths, people think you mean made-up stories, but mythology is prehistory origin tales, let's call it that. All about Tiamat and Enki and all these kind of things. They're all mapped out. You can follow the path of it. The Garth, a couple of miles from me, is where the field, as it's referred to in ancient Babylonian times, is there, and the place names match. I got more work from Steve. It's amazing. So you can follow the journey of Gilgamesh, and all the places are marked out on the ground in South Wales. This is where it gets. I think people already see where I'm going with this. I know Marcel's ahead of the game here, and I think Hugh is as well. Is that if the migration was from, as we think it was, 1600, there was a massive influx of metalworking to the area and technological advances in Britain. Around about, say, 1600 BC, Alexander Thom dates the observatories by their alignments to about 1900 BC, maybe 2000. The claims are the islands were empty. So how does this all make sense? The idea is they already had these stories from ancient Babylon, and they brought them to Britain. But how do you move the mountains? And that's the Ptolemaic one. But we've got a similar situation in South Wales, which is not as easy to demonstrate yet because the book's still being put together. But in a similar way to what Hugh's done in the northwest, showing the Ptolemaic zodiac, you can also see the Babylonian connections in southeast Wales. And it's you can't move the mountains and hills. How do they match? How does this work? How is it our geography, the hills, the mountains, matches a Babylonian story? This is getting a little bit weird. So I think you probably know is one of my theories. I don't know if I was the first, but anyway, was that, and it's borne out by some of Hugh's findings, is that they're thousands of years old, thousands and thousands of years old. Some of the sites, particularly in Gwynedd, and therefore, if we go with the Velikovsky model, and Alan Wilson would go with the poles shift. So if the pole came south, suddenly Britain becomes a frozen wasteland. You can't live there anymore. Or maybe a few wandering tribes, but like sort of imagine an Alaska situation, or even Arctic Circle, as bad as that. So they've been driven south to Babylonia, or that area, the Middle East, where it's warmer climate. And then as the poles have receded, they come back. And the poles move all the time, by the way. They move at 12 feet a year or something. Now, one thing... Oh, please. There's the book. I had it ready. No, I didn't. Come on, I only have a look for it. My Babylonian star map book. Right, okay, don't worry. I will bring this better than that. I was going to show the book. I can do better than that. I've got the map. And I'm going to show something which I've talked to a couple of people before, but I haven't really shown on here, is that I think we can show from Babylonian cosmology. Come on. That it was in fact in Britain before Babylon. Yes, got it here. Brilliant. Right, great. I wasn't planning to do this tonight. Everyone says the program's much better when I lose my notes and just have to go for it. I don't know if it's the same tonight, but there you go. Just going through thoughts. And probably, I think people like the fact I say quite a few things which I didn't want to share yet. Right, okay. Right, so here we go. This, if you're not familiar with it, is a work by Gavin White. It's a fantastic piece of work he's done. He's pieced this together. Clearly, it's very hard to be absolutely 100% definitive about any of this. But this is how it goes, all right? So this, we could argue here, is the Milky Way. And then you've got the circle, which would be some sort of ecliptic. So you've got the permanent area. And as done in the video you've just seen, hopefully, earlier in the week. If you haven't, go and see those videos. This is like the spiral of creation coming towards the centre, which, you know, the plough, and these days got Polaris and stuff. Right, now I don't say disagree with Gavin White, because I think his work's fantastic. We have a different interpretation. Is that, by the way, so what we're going to do now, if we look at South Wales, for example, what Steve is doing is finding all these places, and there's places related to these Welsh versions of the names are dotted around the landscape. You can see them on the hills and everything, okay? It's just ridiculous. I mean, all of them. It's just mind-blowing. How the heck did it all get there? And also the scenery to match. It's like I'm saying. They seemed to me that they started in Britain, went to Babylon, and came back. Now, what I want to do on here is just... Can I zoom in? Oh, I can zoom in. Oh, this is awesome. I don't even know what I'm in. Picture viewer or something. Now, I want you to look at here. The idea is the four corners. Hang on, sorry. Must be horrible to watch me going in and out. It's got the four corners here, okay? So what we're supposed to be looking at, and I agree with Gavin's analysis, we've got winter, spring, summer, autumn, the 4 seasons. So if we look closely, God, I'm doing this off the hoof now. I haven't done my revision for this. Where's all the people collecting the crops and all that kind of thing? Oh, everything's it's rotated by 45 degrees. That's why I'm thrown. Okay, so the idea is if you go through... Yes, here we are. If you go through Gavin White's book from memory, so please, I apologize if I get this wrong. These people in this corner represent the growing season, spring. So you got people here with food, and he's tilling the soil or something to prepare it, okay? So from that then we go to winter. Oh, it all seems the wrong way around. I know why it's wrong. I hope this isn't the one I've flipped already. Okay, and then what we'll do then, we'll go to... Let's get this right around. Oh, I'll get this. This seems upside down. I need my book. Right, the point I'm trying to get to anyway is then you got the... here we are. Animals, birth of animals, and that's spring and this kind of thing. That's the idea. Right, okay. The bull. Right, okay. Now, to my mind, when you look at this map, and I will have to explain this a bit better than I'm doing right now, because I can't remember all the detail off the top of my head. But to my mind, it's the other way around. This, to me, doesn't look like someone planting. This looks like someone reaping. They've got the finished, a grown crop. It's like a harvest festival. This one as well. And this looks like someone reaping. So this, to me, would strike as the growing season. So why have we got... The order you have there, you have the planting. Let's go back to basics. You've got the planting, the growing, the harvest, and then the dead time when nothing grows, okay? And they're the 4 things represented by the corners. The problem for me is it seems to go the wrong way. So I would say that these people are reaping rather than planting. And then you can see the planting people must be this one. So why? Where it gets cute? Where it gets difficult? If you go to the Middle East, where this is, you'll find that the growing seasons are different to Northern Hemisphere because it's too hot in the summer. So nothing grows in the summer. It's the summer that's the dead period because it's too hot, and you can grow stuff better in the winter. So the effect of this is the whole thing is flipped around. It's all backwards. So people have been trying to read the signs, in my view, the wrong way around. Hundreds of years. Because what you're looking at there, you're looking at people who are actually planting and assuming they're harvesting because it's the autumn. Whereas if you look at this, if it's in the Middle East, it should be the other way around. You plant autumn, grow winter, harvest spring, which is what this doesn't work. It doesn't show that. Everything's backwards. The only way you can make this work is to sort of flip it, if you like. So why would the Babylonians produce a calendar where the planting and the reaping are the wrong way around? My view is they only appear to be the right way around because the people interpreting it have just made them that way. Like, this looks like grown crops. It doesn't look like people planting seed. And if I'd spent more time preparing, I'd show the other examples of people here when it's supposed to be the dead season, when everything stopped growing, and then you got the summer season, the wrong way around. Summer and winter. I hope I'm making sense here. Sorry, it's going to be the wrong way around. Anyway, so the point of it is that the Babylonian star map works in the northern hemisphere, near in Britain, for example. It doesn't work in a hot country like the Middle East because you have to flip it round because the seasons don't work. I lived in the Middle East for 6 years. I was born in the Middle East, and the best time of year is now. Christmas, January. The winter is just beautiful. I was in Abu Dhabi, December days, in the high 20s, or in American money, 70s. It's lovely, 70s, 80s. It stays warm all night. It's beautiful. Good growing weather. Because don't forget, you don't have such short days because it's nearer the equator. So all these things, that's the most pleasant time of year, if you like. Summer, when it's blistering hot, when it's 50 degrees, well over 100, 110 on the Fahrenheit scale. That would be what I would call the dead season. So this needs flipping. And the only way it works is if you bring the whole story back to Britain, which is where I think it might have started. So there you go. A bit of a ramble tonight. All right. You ready, Maestro? You got your whistle?
Yep.
So I'd love to see some more questions on that as well. There's some good chat going on here. If different people knew them by different names... Go on, let's have words of the thing. Yeah, well, this is the thing. I agree with Marshall there. Why would they be using the same names for things in Babylon as they do in Britain? Okay. Right, let's have a quick look. Lots of questions. All right. Wow. I don't think the Cymry were ever involved in any of the Trojan Wars, either in Tyre, Anatolia, or Cambridge. That's rhythmistic. I think it's Bethan, isn't it? I'll expand on that. I know Wilson and Blackett, regards to Trojan Wars, they might not have been active combatants, but they were in the region. That seems to be happened. And they took advantage of the disruption. So it could well be the case that they managed to not be in the fighting as such. But also maybe they're the Hittites. So, interesting. Right. Doesn't it depend on whether or not there's only one pole, the North Pole. Yeah, I know you're going with that, Taliesin. I didn't mention the South Pole, I think you'll notice. I know you're going with that one. Right, Helena of Troy, did she go back to Sparta after the war? Or was that a cover-up for something elsewhere instead? Right, what we're looking at with Trojan Wars, great subject. Please keep the questions coming, it's great, gives me a prompt as well. Is that we think there might have been two Trojan Wars. We got and Homer, Marchell noticed Homer could be linguistically Cymry. It could be a history book of the Cymry rather than a person, Melesigenes, whoever it's supposed to be, because he's never really been identified who he was, and it seems could have been written over a long period. Anyway, so we got the current most likely theory seems to be that there was a major war in Cambridgeshire in Britain in about 1100 BC, and then, as you'll see in Alan Wilson Blackett's Trojan War 650, another war around about 650 BC in Anatolia. And what they also explain there is that the main combatants, like Menelaus, Agamemnon, I'm not sure about Achilles, but Helen definitely, were all in Egypt. They were Greeks in Egypt, in the Delta region. And Helen would have been the heir, effectively the pharaoh, but you have to marry. The line goes through the female, but they have to marry the male. So that's why there's just fighting over Helen. They're queuing up to become inheritors of the Egyptian Empire. They become the next pharaoh. Next pharaoh. Right, Aeneas fled Trojan War. Brutus ends up in Britain. Aeneas is Brutus' grandfather. Well, that's the kind of loose version of it. Now, if the Cymry were Trojans, there would be all manner of inscribed stones about it. Well, this is kind of what we're looking at, Beth, and trying to find more written evidence of it. Because one of the things Wilson and Blackett have done is follow back things like the Lemnos stone, or Lemnos stela, which just means stone, posh word for it. And you can read in Colburn the adventures. This is what I was going to talk more about tonight, actually, if I had the chance to put it all up. The movements of what might be the 10 tribes. But again, I agree with you. You're quite right. They might not have been the Trojans. One argument is that good old Caleb. Hope you watch this, Caleb, now and again. He would say the Trojans were only went to England, and the Welsh is something alongside the Trojans. So I think it gets a bit complicated there. Difficult to know. But what I will say is that Marcell's doing some brilliant work looking at the word connections. And I think England, well, we're looking at Cambridgeshire at the moment. So this is not just a Welsh nationalist thing, all right? Please remember that. If different people knew them by different names, yeah, if different people know them by different names, it's difficult then, isn't it? The seasons, hang on a second. Oh, God, loads of messages flew up. Very few maps in the Antipodes. Also have south at the top. Okay. Santos, yes. I think Santos hasn't been overwhelmed because I was supposed to go and do talk of me going on his show at one point, which would be great. I'd love to. Yes, he is a fascinating guy. Does an excellent job explaining the sine wave as a foundation to understand. Yeah, all that wave stuff. I think it's sort of related but different. You know, we're trying to look at this history. On this channel generally, he's trying to look at the recorded history and what people believed and what they did. Not necessarily whether their beliefs were true. If they got it right. So I think that's a different area then, isn't it? I hope that helped a bit. Anyway, God dear. Right, well, there's hardly any voice left at all now. How am I going to sing on?
Well.
Oh, yeah, go. Look out. I've queued him up. Go on.
Don't have to.
Don't have to. But you're going to play a recorder, weren't you? It's going to be weird if you play a recorder without me singing. Right. Great content. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed that. Try and get a copy of this map. Gavin White did a great job. I mean, it's one I just stumps out there. There's a strange word there. Pabilsag. And you can find a Welsh place matching this. I'll go through a couple, actually, while I got it on the screen. You know, there's Field. I just saw it. You see, there's Field. I was just talking about. So that goes by the Garth. Stag. Old Welsh word for stag, filly. So you got Kifilly, which is Kifilly. And then you can Steve's worked out all these. It's just brilliant. The trouble is, it's so Steve's research is like there. I'm like down here trying to get near it. I'm not completely understand it or write a book like Steve's doing, but understand enough I can try and pass it on to get other people interested, and then they can read and they can get to there, and then they can tell me all about it. Okay, because it's quite difficult. But one of the things, if you watch the videos during the week, things like there's little twins and great twins, which refers to modern Gemini. We've got the old man, which is something hen in Welsh, hired man. All these symbols. If you look up the Welsh words for them, and then look on the map like Steve's doing, I warn you, it takes a lot of work. They all fit in. How weird is that? How weird is that? All right, anyway, it's bedtime. You got school in the morning, Arnie B. I want to get my old guitar out now. Where'd the time go? Yeah, where'd the time go? Flying by. You're probably watching Grand Prix or something on us the time, aren't you?
What, in the half term?
No, the half term, the whole week's gone by, and isn't it a sad thing, isn't it? Think about time being relative. I think Einstein was referring to school holidays, isn't it? They seem to fly by. Okay. That was a disaster last week with the singing, but people say they like it. They look forward to the singing. Keep upsetting the establishment. Yeah, thanks, Andrew. You're absolutely good at doing that. Even when I'm trying to be nice. I've got any voice left at all. That's the only problem. I'll put myself as a bonus. All right. Glasses. I was supposed to learn and memorise this by this week, but I'm doing all right. Okay, you ready? This is the way to get everyone to go home now. You see, people say, "Oh, don't finish, Ross. Don't finish." I start singing, and everyone's like, "All right, okay, let's go." And I'll start with I got a bit nervous then. That's weird, isn't it? God, I got nervous. That's a very nervous start. Not like me to get nervous, is it? Have another go, Bells of Romney, alright? Ready?
Yep.
What will... Hang on. I keep doing that bloody Orange and Lemons thing as I did last week. I sang the wrong tune. Alright. What will he give me? I said it. Say the sad bells of Romney. Is a hope for the future. Cry the brown bells of Merthyr, who made the mine owner. Say the black bells of Ronville, and who robbed the miner. Say the grim bells of Bliner. They will plunder willy-nilly. Cry the bells of Kef. I'm singing the wrong tune again, Anne. What am I doing wrong, Anne? The tune's gone wrong.
I don't know what you're doing. I'm kind of
I don't know what you're doing. Oh, he's playing the tune in the book. Oh,
I'm
no.
playing along.
What?
I'm just trying to play along.
What will he give me? Say the sad bells of Romney. There's a hope for the future. That's right. Cry the brown bells of Merthyr, who made the mine owner. Say the black bells of Ronville, and who robbed the miner. Cry the grim bells of Bliner. That's better. They will plunder willy-nilly. Cry the bells of Caerphilly. They have fangs, they have teeth. Shout the loud bells of Neath. Even God isn't easy. Say the mice bells of Swansea. And what will you give me? Say the sad bells of Romney. Put the vandals in court. Say the bells of Newport. Oh, would be well if cry the green bells of Cardiff. Why so worried, sisters, why? Said the silver bells of white. And what will you give me? Said the sad bells of Romney. Oh, what will you give me? Say the sad bells of Romney. Is the hope for the future? Cry the brown bells of Merthyr, who made the mine owner. Say the black bells of Ronville, and who robbed the miner. At the green bells of Bliner. Put the vandals in court. Said the bells of Newport. All would be well, 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 well. Cry the green bells of Cardiff. Oh, sorry. Why so worried, sisters, why? Said the silver bells of white. And what will you give me? Said the sad bells of Romney. Ah, dear, I think we'll give up on that one. There we go. Thanks, everyone, for bearing with me. The numbers didn't drop off like a stone like last week. As soon as I pick the guitar up, normally everyone just switches off. So if you're still there, well done. You get a bonus medal. Don't forget, you become a member if you want, but there are no bonus features apart from you get a nice little cool badge next to your name when you make comments on there. And it would be appreciated.
Yes.
So,
earn your cool badge now.
Earn your cool badge now. Yes. Plus, I do one of. Oh gosh, yes. Right. Anyway, okay. So there we go. Run over again. Hope you enjoyed that tonight. And there's going to be more videos going up about the ancient stuff. Remember, please. There's some homework this week. Try and look at that Wales Vision 2040, and I would love it. Please, people in England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, or anywhere else in the world, really, if you've got similar vision statements, because they are very, very crucial. I hadn't even heard of it. And it tells you in there exactly what's going to happen to your country, what's protected, what's not protected, where everything's going, all that kind of stuff. It's all in there. And it's pretty scary reading. All right. So from me and from Arnie, yeah, no star. You do the heavy thing, let me do it.
Yeah, I'll do that. I want to.
All right, go on in, off you go.
Which buttons for the...
Oh, yeah, try... I want to go with 4, I think.
Heather.
To find out, is that right? No.
You dimwit.
All right, try 3 then.
You dimwit.
Dimwit. So professional, isn't it?
Ah!
I'll put some graphics on it. There we are. Still some people haven't switched off yet. Carry on the conversations there. And I'm going to catch up some of the comments. You've got school in the morning, aren't you?
Stop doing to rub it in you.
Is it hope for the future? With the brown bells of Medford, who made the mine owner? Brown bells of London, and who run the mine owner? Oh yeah, next Saturday morning. I am appearing, as it were, kindly to John Enigma. Thank you very much for organising. I will be doing a presentation at Brecon Man Cave. I'll put it up in the description, okay. Nice to see people there. Have a chat. Set the silver bells away, and what will you give me? Say the sad bells around me. We'll start.